Friends, Bihar elections are around the corner and various parties are vying for a crown. Politics of convenience seems to be practiced by all the parties. While some will succeed, most of them may not. Those that will succeed will wear the crown for the next 5 years. Those that will not probably will crib and complain. In parliamentary democracies, voters may strategically support a candidate or party that they don't fully align with ideologically to prevent another candidate or party from winning. Though this is political convenience, it still is within the practice of democracy. Now, populist leaders often adapt their rhetoric and policy positions based on the prevailing sentiments within the electorate, sometimes deviating from their original campaign promises. One may accept this too within the democracies. However, what we are seeing in Bihar may not actually pass the moral compass, but it does pass the politics of convenience. Politicians switching political parties based on changing circumstances, personal ambitions, or the perceived likelihood of winning elections under a different party banner have all been there before. They were all seen before. They will continue to thrive in future too. Now the moot question, however, is whether the classical definition of democracy needs a relook, especially when it is incapacitated with military precision time and again by various parties. Now, many political parties need to look inwards and ring in structural reforms. The Congress party more so, if it wants to see itself alive and counting. Now, coalition politics works only when there is a strong common thread that keeps the groups together. It needs a single fulcrum about which the lever can be turned. Now that fulcrum is the leader in the politics, the leader of the party. A machine cannot be built, more so run, with multiple fulcrums and multiple levers. Once a year-end study revealed that Ford vehicles sold the most globally. Maybe their technology, marketing, or services were the best. Or maybe their brand was unshakably so, thought its competitors. In order to compete honestly, each of the manufacturers of the time invested much in technology, in marketing, and also in services. A year-end review saw Ford miles ahead. The competitors were now truly perturbed. They were disturbed. They went through another cycle of R&D, put more investments into the processes, but the result was still the same the next year. This time, however, the competitors hit upon an innovative idea of combining their resources, men, material, labor, and develop a single vehicle that stood as competitor to Ford vehicle. Yet again the following year, Ford stood out with even bigger sales margins. Now the competitors at their wits' end, understandably so, swallowing their pride, decided to approach Ford to find answers. Ford, confident as always, agreed to help the consortium and took them to his garage, where his and the competitors' vehicles were parked. Each aspect of the vehicle, the styling, the features, after-sale service, were all compared. To the competitors' chagrin, it was agreed by Ford himself that not his, but his competitors' vehicles stood out. Now was the time to check the engine and the bonnet was opened. Lo and behold, no engine in Ford vehicle. Of course, this is a parody. The consortium was now truly perplexed and pleaded with Ford for an answer. Ford, in his inimitable style, informed that his vehicle sold because of his name. Nothing was required otherwise. There are lessons to learn from this parody. All innovations do not work, disruptive or otherwise, and that you need one charismatic leader to challenge the norms and not multiple leaders. What is the way out for the grand old party then? A change in strategy, which is often a complex process. It must adapt to changing demographics, responding to shifts in public opinion, and rejuvenate the party's image in the process. Introducing new leaders who can bring fresh perspectives and appeal to a broader audience. Now, charismatic and reliable leaders can help reshape the party's image and connect with voters. The question is, will they? And can they? Of course, the other side plays innovative politics as well, which is a new, creative, and transformative approach to political processes, the governance, and policy making, and also civic engagement, and solves problems more effectively. Now, it has great leaders and a massive participation all across the country, and it solves problems very, very effectively by massive participation, and it's adapt to changing social needs. That's the bottom line. It often involves rethinking traditional political norms, leveraging technology, or restructuring systems, and is more inclusive, transparent, and responsive. Now, what can the grand old party do in this background? It must go to the drawing board again. Now, it must conduct extensive surveys, town hall meetings, and outreach programs to understand the concerns and priorities of the electorate. Moderating extreme or polarizing stances can broaden the party's appeal, making it more attractive to a wider range of voters. Now, this may involve finding a balance between ideological principles and pragmatic solutions. Now, articulating a clear and compelling message that resonates with voters is very, very crucial. Utilizing modern campaign tools, including social media, data analytics, and targeted advertising, can help it connect with voters more effectively and also mobilize support. Now, the party must demonstrate flexibility, adaptability in response to evolving political and social dynamics. No longer can it afford to play Big Brother and accept bits and pieces from the coalition partners. It must contest on its own in every state of the country. If it succeeds, so be it. If it fails, 50 odd seats in a coalition or 50 odd seats going solo wouldn't make any difference. Is that not right? With that, friends, I end today's speech for you and hope that you have liked it and would come back to me posing a few interesting questions. Until then, thank you, Dhanyavad, and Namaskar.